What if the most powerful idea in American history was not written in the Constitution, not declared in Philadelphia, not won on a battlefield, but quietly born in a room full of books that almost nobody could afford to read? Stay until the end of this video, because what a 25-year-old did with 40 shillings and a big dream is still shaping your life right now. Picture Philadelphia in 1731. A young printer named Benjamin Franklin is 25 years old, ambitious, and absolutely hungry to learn everything. He has taught himself to read in 5 languages. He reads every scrap of writing he can find. There is just one problem. Books in early America are rare and expensive. There are no public libraries. Only the very wealthy and the clergy have access to large numbers of books. Even men of moderate means cannot readily afford them. Franklin is a man of moderate means, but he has a group of friends, a little club he calls the Junto, a band of tradesmen and craftsmen who meet every Friday night to debate ideas and argue about the world. The idea of creating a lending library began during those Junto gatherings, where each member brought books to share with others and consult during debates. But carting books back and forth becomes cumbersome. So Franklin has an idea, a beautifully simple, world-changing idea. What if they pooled their money and bought books together? In 1731, Benjamin Franklin convinced members of the Junto to pool their resources and purchase a collection of books that none of them could have afforded individually. 50 subscribers invest 40 shillings each to start the library, with an annual payment of 10 shillings to keep buying new books. That is roughly the cost of a week's wages for a working tradesman. Not nothing, but not impossible either. And with that, the Library Company of Philadelphia is born, America's very first lending library. Now here is the detail that makes this story sing. The library is open on Saturday afternoons from 4 to 8. Members can borrow books freely. Non-members can also borrow books if they put up something of value that would be forfeited if the book is not returned. Think about what that means. A carpenter, a shoemaker, a farmer, anyone with something to offer can walk through that door and walk out with a book. Not because they are wealthy, not because they went to the right school. Simply because knowledge, Franklin believes, belongs to everyone. And what do they fill those shelves with? History, geography, poetry, exploration, science, novels, plays, and practical arts. Not just books for the elite in Latin and Greek, but books in plain English for plain people about the whole magnificent world. Now, this is where the story goes from wonderful to absolutely extraordinary. The Library Company's example is soon imitated in other cities up and down the Atlantic coast, from Salem to Charleston. The idea spreads like a spark catching dry wood. Town after town, ordinary people pooling their pennies, sharing their books, feeding their minds. And then something happens that nobody planned. On September 5, 1774, the First Continental Congress met on the ground floor of Carpenter's Hall. The Library Company upstairs extends its borrowing privileges to every single delegate. At the time, its shelves held virtually every significant work of political theory, history, law, and statecraft to be found anywhere in the American colonies. The men who are about to argue for independence, write the Declaration, and build a new nation are reading books borrowed from a library that a 25-year-old printer started because he wanted more people to think clearly. 9 signers of the Declaration of Independence were members of the Library Company. Let that settle for a moment. Franklin himself, looking back on what he started, wrote that these libraries had done something he never could have imagined. He reflected that they had improved the general conversation of Americans and made the common tradesmen and farmers as intelligent as most gentlemen from other countries. That is the whole dream right there, in one sentence. Not just smarter people, more equal people. People who could walk into any room and hold their own, because they had read the same books as anyone else. Until the 1850s, the Library Company remained the largest public library in America, and from the Revolutionary War until 1800, it served as the de facto Library of Congress itself. Today, there are over 17,000 public libraries across the United States. Every single one of them, in some small but real way, carries the fingerprints of a young printer who could not afford the books he needed and decided to do something about it. And here is what I want you to carry with you today. Franklin did not wait until he was famous. He did not wait until he had money, power, or the right connections. He was 25 years old, a printer's son, and he looked at the world and said, "This is not fair, and I think I can fix it." And I want to ask you something personal. Every single one of those early library members, those tradesmen and farmers and shopkeepers and craftsmen, they had stories. Stories of learning things they were never supposed to know, of reading a book that changed how they saw the world, of passing that hunger for knowledge down to their children. Do you know those kinds of stories in your own family? The person who taught themselves to read, the grandparent who saved up for one precious book, the parent who carried a library card like it was a treasure, because to them it was. Those stories deserve to be written down, because the truth is, the most important history is never just the famous names. It is the quiet, ordinary people who reached for something better and then passed that reaching on. Have you ever thought about writing your family's story, about the lessons and the moments and the choices that made you who you are? Because the people who love you, the ones who come after you, will search for you in what you leave behind. Do not let those stories disappear simply because no one thought to write them down. You are sitting on a treasure that no library holds. Only you can tell it. If this kind of history lights something up inside you, then you have found your people. Welcome to History Sparks. Every single day, we bring you a moment from the past that speaks directly to the life you are living right now. Join a community of curious, thoughtful people who believe that every story matters, including yours. Hit that subscribe button and be here with us every single day. New spark, every day, right here. We will see you tomorrow. Remember, every life holds a story worth sparking. See you tomorrow.